The Etruscans. Who were they? What was so important about these guys? Why should we care? Well, let's talk about it, dude. Beginning around 900 BCE, a group of chiefdom-governed tribes known as the Etruscans were quickly expanding their territories throughout what is now northern Italy. Where they originated from is highly debated, as there are arguments that Etruscans descended from Greek settlers, as well as arguments that they were natives to northern Italy. Etruscans referred to themselves as Rasenna, and were known to be some of the most skilled craftsmen of their era, constructing and living in great walled cities. For centuries, Etruscans were unmatched militarily and technologically on the Italian peninsula. They expanded with relative ease, conquering and assimilating various tribes throughout the region, controlling more and more territory with each passing year. During their height, Etruscan merchants grew rich through trade with the Celts in the north and the Greeks in the east. To their south, however, was the unassuming land of Latium. While not yet organized and formidable, Latium was very fertile with an excellent climate for growing grain. Hey yo, let me get that sweet land. Want to become Etruscan? Nah bro, we good. What you mean we good? Let me get it. Nah. Bet. I bet. Under ever-increasing pressure from the expansion of Etruscan influence in the region, Latium villagers formed a group of alliances which would later become the foundation of arguably the greatest empire in pre-modern history, the Roman Empire. Despite the vast similarities in their two cultures, the new Latin coalition in Latium viewed the Etruscans as foreign oppressors.
Whereas we believe lightning to be released as a result of the collision of clouds, they believe that the clouds collide so as to release lightning. For as they attribute all to deity, they are led to believe not that things have a meaning insofar as they occur, but rather that they occur because they must have a meaning.
I don't want to go into too much detail on the wars between the Romans and the Etruscans, mainly due to the fact that much of it is considered semi-mythical, and few known first-hand accounts exist today. But according to the Roman foundation myth, the Etruscans, led by King Mezentius, attacked the Latins. The Latins were ultimately victorious, and the invading king was killed in battle. This moment was considered the beginning of the shift in power between the Romans and the Etruscans. For over 600 years, wars and skirmishes regularly broke out between the two rival city-states, with Rome seemingly gaining more territory with each conflict. Not without mention, though, the Etruscan cities saw glimpses of success and favor in the Mediterranean arena, even gaining powerful allies like the Greeks and Carthage.
Bruh.
By the 3rd century BCE, however, Rome had completed its conquest of the Etruscans, relegating the once mighty culture to small surviving pockets around the Mediterranean, ultimately being completely destroyed or assimilated into Latin culture over the next 2 centuries.
He needs some milk!
So why were the Etruscans so important? If not for the pressure of Etruscan invasions, Rome may have never been founded. It was this existential threat to the Latium villagers that necessitated them to unify and organize militarily. And with a centuries-long conflict between the two rival groups in the region, a foundation was laid for the military expansionist theology that later kings, politicians, and emperors used as mantras in leading the direction of Rome. Perhaps equally, if not more important, was the profound influence Etruscans had on Roman culture. Because the early history of Rome was so unwell documented, there are even theories that the Latins were at some point in time actually conquered by the Etruscans, and developed as a post-Etruscan renegade colony. After all, it was from the Etruscans that the Romans inherited many of their own cultural and artistic traditions, from the spectacle of gladiatorial combat to hydraulic engineering, temple design, and religious ritual. In fact, hundreds of years after the Etruscans had been conquered by the Romans and absorbed into their empire, the Romans still maintained an Etruscan priesthood in Rome, which they thought necessary to consult when under attack from invading barbarians. This reminds me a lot of that scene from 300, where those hills have eyes priests are about to have their way with that poor girl?
Sparta wages no war at the time of the Carneia.
Sparta will burn!
During the period of kings before the Republic was formed, 3 out of 7 of Rome's kings were of Etruscan origin, along with a disproportionate number of Rome's aristocracy. We even derive our very common word person from the Etruscan mythological figure Persu. So the question is, were the two groups so similar simply through cultural diffusion, or did Roman culture descend directly from the Etruscans? I think it's a pretty interesting debate. Let me know what y'all think. If you like this video, please consider liking and subscribing. Definitely gonna be more to come.